Hi guys. Okay, I was not gonna film this video, but I can't not film this video. So last night I watched the Friends reunion. I, I have so many thoughts, so many feelings. Okay, first of all, I'm a huge Friends fan. I ended up buying all of the DVDs in college. So I had every single episode and I watched it all the time. So in love. And to this day, like, we watch it all the time. I mean, Andrew's not a huge Friends fan, but I am. So when I saw they were doing this reunion, I was super excited. I didn't really have high expectations though. I didn't, I have watched a lot of behind the scenes stuff of Friends. Sometimes I'll just Google Friends behind the scenes, Friends bloopers. I watch it all. So there's a lot of stuff in here I've already seen before. But I had not very high expectations because I didn't want to get upset and like let down by it. But I was blown away. It satisfied my every desire for what I wanted this to be. One, it was kind of sad. I mean, not kind of sad, super sad. Like I was saying this on my Instagram. It's hard for TV shows like that. Like, they're on TV all the time. So you are seeing them the same way all the time. Like, you're kind of visualizing them season 5, how they look and everything. So then to see them, I mean, it has been a long time since Friends has aired. So obviously they're older now, So it is just crazy to see them now as they're doing all these flashbacks. And you're like, wow, so much time has gone by since then, but you don't really realize it because you're watching it on TV all the time and you feel like it's like current, We have to talk about David Schwimmer and Jennifer Aniston. What in the world? I could not believe that. So let's preface this. James Corden was doing like a little interview kind of, and it would kind of go back and forth if you didn't see it. But at one point he goes, okay, come on, there had to have been some love interest between the 6 of you. You're young, you're good looking, you're together all the time. And Jennifer Aniston goes, like right away, she goes, well, yeah, I had a big crush on David, and like we were flirting all the time together, and Dave was nodding and they're just like looking at each other like, yeah, we really liked each other. And then they go on to talk about how they would be cuddling all the time during downtime of filming. They're showing clips behind the scenes of them, like season 1, like on the couch, like flirting with each other and all of this stuff. And I was just like, what? And then they go, well, you guys probably didn't see that, to the other cast members. And all the cast members go, yeah, we did. We all knew. And then Jen said at one point, she goes to David, wouldn't it be crazy if our first kiss is actually on screen and not real life? And then that's what it ended up being. They said that they had, been in relationships at different times, like, so it never really aligned for them. And they channeled like all of that into Ross and Rachel. And that blew my mind. I just couldn't, I don't know why I never thought that was like a real thing in real life, but I was saying too on my stories, like all these years, everybody's been rooting for Jen and Brad. Can you imagine if her and David got together? What? It's just so crazy. And they really did, and they're both single now, guys. They did just, the way they were together was just different than the other people. And I don't know, I just always wonder, and I truly never even thought that. And I'm speechless, clearly. I like don't even know how to talk about it because it was so shocking. And I looked over at Andrew, I'm like, wait, what? So something else that I loved is how they were talking about casting everyone and how they wrote the script. They wrote Ross's character for him with his voice in mind, and how they went character by character to cast, and how Rachel was the hardest for them to cast because they wanted, because her character, like on Paper can be very unlikable. And so they needed somebody who, despite all these flaws, you still really love them. And she really does fit that part perfectly. And I also thought it was interesting how they said Courtney Cox at the time was in 2 other things. And so they didn't want it to be like the Courtney Cox show. They didn't want any celebrities in it. They wanted them to all be kind of no-name actors. And that was just, I like that aspect of it. And how Jennifer Aniston was in another show at the time and had to like pick between the 2 of them, and how the producer on the other show she was on said Friends will not make you famous, and just the risk that she took doing Friends because she loved it so much. She loved other people. That was really cool. And I really just appreciated how it really affected them all being on set. First of all, I did not know that's how all the sets were laid out, how they're all side by side like that. It was really neat. I've never seen them all like that, like, zoomed out. And just seeing how it made them so emotional was very moving. And it's like they all just, that was 10 years. Can you imagine like 10 years of your life being with these people for work and all the time? And they all went through something that nobody else really understood. And you could see it on their faces. I felt like David Schwimmer was about to cry at any given moment. He looked so emotional the whole time. And it was really special. I want to watch it so many more times. I feel like there were so many little nuggets of things that I would like to rewatch. And like, guys, it was the best. Please comment if you enjoyed it down below. I was also dying when they had Bieber come out for the little catwalk thing. And I was saying to one of my friends, I was like, all the people in Friends are mega stars when they don't really freak out that much for Justin Bieber. They're like, oh, it's Bieber. Like, it's no big deal. But it was really good. It makes you like really appreciate everybody in the whole show. Not just the actors, like the writers, the creators of the show, and just seeing their whole process for everything. And when they would show a script, like the pivot scene, and it's so basic on paper, and the actors just really just brought it to life. Because sometimes you think, okay, it goes back and forth. It's not just the writers, and it's just not the actors who make a show. Like, the writers have to be great to come up with everything, and then the actors have to bring it to life. The creators were saying when they were trying to find people to cast, it was hard because they wouldn't like make the jokes funny. All these actors that were auditioning for the roles. So it just really is like a full circle thing, and it just really made me appreciate the show more, if that's even possible. I thought I loved the show so much, and now I want to watch it again from the very, very beginning. And it was funny how Matt LeBlanc was saying how when he watches it over, he never likes his parts because he feels like, he's like, well, I'm just acting, so I don't believe anything I'm saying, but he loves everybody else. And now I think David Schwimmer was saying he has a kid. I don't know how old, or if it's a girl or a boy, but they're watching it for the first time, his kid. And so that's crazy. I do wonder if there will ever be a show quite like that. I don't think there will be, just because life is just different now. You never know. There might be, but I think Friends is a special show, and also the time that it came out. Now it's different with TV. Like, everybody's watching different. People have apps that they're watching TV on. It's not like everybody's watching the same thing all the time. I loved Lisa Kudrow. Was great. She was just funny, and she talked a lot, and she was just like quick, and I really, really liked hearing everything that she had to say. Oh my gosh. And Jack and Judy were there. That's her name, right? Jack and Judy. Mr. and Mrs. Geller in the audience when they were taking questions, and then they talked. I was like, I know that voice, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my gosh, that was like so cool to me, because they're such a big, like, the big part. And same with when Tom Selleck came on. So many people that were on the show consistently, and so it was it was cool to see the dynamic, like when Courtney Cox gave him a hug. I'm like, oh my gosh, they were like together for so long. And you think of all the time that they spent together filming. So that was really cool to see all the different people they brought on. I'm reading my comments to see what other people said. Oh yes, it was funny how they would all recall certain scenes and then somebody else would have no idea what they were talking about. Like one of them was talking about, was it Matt LeBlanc? The one about throwing the ball. He's like, remember the scene where we were throwing the ball and couldn't drop it? And Andrew and I just watched that 2 days ago. And David Schwimmer was like, has no idea of that scene. And then somebody else would mention a scene and the other one would not have any idea of it. I'm like, that's so crazy. But also you think us as fans are watching these over and over again, where they sometimes, like some of them said they haven't even watched certain seasons. So, I mean, they're filming that for how many days they film an episode and then they're never really living it back again. So that is so weird to think. And they were talking about like, would you guys ever do like a movie or another actual episode? And they were saying probably not, because we wanted to close, like tie off the ends of every character in a good, positive way and like leave everybody happy. And I like that. You know, they were saying if they did do anything again, they'd have to stir up the characters and create conflict and drama. And they're like, I don't know if we want that. We kind of like leaving it how they are. But yeah, I think they did a really good job with it. I was not disappointed at all. I was not let down. It was really more than I could have hoped for. And I've seen a lot of behind the scenes of Friends stuff, so I didn't think it'd be much new stuff, but it actually felt like new stuff. It felt very different and very special and like intimate. So if you guys haven't watched it, you should watch it. It was on HBO Max, but really, really good. And I watched all like the teasers for it, and I thought they would like give it all away, but it didn't. Like watching, it was an hour and 44 minutes, so it was pretty long. And you know I will be watching it again tonight. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This was fun. Let's continue this conversation in the comments, because I'm not done talking about this. I want to talk more about it. I could talk forever about Friends, and Andrew doesn't want to, but I do. So anyways, I'll see you guys soon.